Dolphins. Week 9 is underway. The kick to the far side is fielded just in bounds and skirting the sideline. Good run back. D. Estridge takes it all the way out to near midfield at the 43-yard line. So here come the Dolphins off their by far best game of the season, with Tonga Vailoa at the helm, sixth year in the league against the Falcons last week. There were the numbers, 205 passing yards. And you hear 60. You hear Scott Nowick. You're going to hear that a lot tonight. They're going to use Daniel Brunskill a lot as the sixth offensive lineman. Malik Washington and D. Estridge are back deep for the Dolphins. Week 9 is underway. The kick to the far side is fielded just in bounds and skirting the sideline. Good run back. D. Estridge takes it all the way out to near midfield at the 43-yard line. So here come the Dolphins off their by far best game of the season, with Tonga Vailoa at the helm, sixth year in the league against the Falcons last week. There were the numbers, 205 passing yards. And you hear 64. You hear Scott Nowick. You're going to hear that a lot tonight. They're going to use Daniel Brunskill a lot as the sixth offensive lineman. Two backs here. Pass underway. Complete at the 40-yard line of Miami. So a good start to Jalen Waddle, by far their number one receiver, first down.
And they bring Brunskill in to get that different, unique formation right here. And then they get a little bit of a kind of a jet sweep look to Achane and get the defense with their eyes in the backfield on the very first play of the game. Boy, that's Miami Dolphin and Mike McDaniel football right there in a nutshell in the first play, creating some doubt, some hesitation on the back end, and then Tua with an absolute, just a perfect throw there to start this game.
So a good run back at the opening kickoff and a 20-yard gain on first down. Hand the ball off here. And stuck at the line of scrimmage is Achane. Kyle Van Noy, been around a long time, 12th year in the league. Owns a couple of Super Bowl rings as a member of the Patriots. 2nd and 10.
This Ravens defense, very, very physical and have big bodies in the interior. The edges are their biggest concern for Zach Orr, especially against this Miami offense. You know, Tua got a lot of attention with the 4 touchdowns, but I thought Brunskill and the offensive line in the running game got him going and got him into sync, and it starts with their run game again tonight.
Brunskill, 64, lines up on the right side. And on 2nd down and 10, Tua in the pocket, sets it off, catch is made. He's doing a good job holding that baby in. And that'll make it 3rd down and 6 after a gain of 4 on the game's opening drive.
They will attack the edges and really look to, keep in mind, this defense from Baltimore has had to make a lot of changes. I know Gilman came over from the Chargers that freed up Kyle Hamilton, who's one of the most versatile players in the NFL. They moved him up to the line of scrimmage, but they are big and powerful on the edges, but not necessarily quick. And it's a great place to try to exploit that with the speed Miami has.
3rd and 6.
Timeout called by Tua Tagovailoa.
And they have to take a timeout. A 30-second timeout for Mike McDaniel in his 4th year. Got to the playoffs in his first 2 seasons. Last year they started 2-6. Same as this year. Won 6 of their last 9, but again, you know, if their team is where they are right now, obviously you're going to be on the old proverbial hot seat, and he is.
Yeah, absolutely, especially the way his era started. You go back to 22 and then 23, and their offense couldn't be stopped. And you know, Stephen Ross, who a good friend of yours, has stopped by to say hello. He's got he's evaluating everything about his franchise and his team, and whether that's the coach, the quarterback, everybody, every aspect of this team. And it's an opportunity for Mike McDaniel, just like we talked about in the open, to continue to try to take the right step forward.
So 3rd down and 6 now. As they come out after the timeout, you got Achane and Gordon are both in the game. And that's Achane going in motion. He takes the ball. Achane looking for the first down. He's going to be stopped about a yard shy. So a 4th down. Malachi Starks, the rookie out of Georgia, the #1 pick, makes the stop. And so it's going to be 4th down.
Really good job. Watch the rookie, Mike Green, on the edge, get off that block, starts to chase, gets a hand on him, and then you can just see a lot of white jerseys pursuing and getting to the football. No chance. They wanted to get 4th and short, maybe have a shot to go for it, but instead, here comes the field goal.
49-yard attempt for Riley Patterson. The much-traveled Patterson, 6'2" in 5 years, and the kick is good. The Dolphins 0 lead. So they win the toss. They elect to receive. Here comes Jackson. 3-0 minus pick in the first round. And of course the Ravens round up with a gem. Patterson to kick off. Fielded at the 4-yard line. Rasheen Ali. That's the 20 to the 30 to the 33-yard line. So Lamar went in for the first time since week 4 against Kansas City when he got hurt early in the second half. He was off to a really good start despite the fact they were 1-2. Missed the last 3.5 games with a hamstring. 1-3 record, 11 total touchdowns with only 2 turnovers, 1 fumble, and 1 pick.
It was interesting. He said he never had a hamstring injury. Really didn't know what to expect from it. Didn't know how it felt. He said it just kind of felt heavy when he talked with us this week. But there's some concern. Maybe thought he might come back next week. But it's just great to see him back out there and playing tonight.
And he's got his fullback and guard back as well. And hand up here is to Derrick Henry for no gain. So a couple of good things for this team. Ricard had been hurt. He's back. He can make such a difference. Of course, there are so few fullbacks being employed in recent years, but this is the one guy who makes the Pro Bowl
every year. Yeah, and a 300-pounder, and he just knows the system so well. And I think he's kind of a security blanket, not just for Lamar, but Derrick Henry, to have him in front of Derrick is big tonight.
Comes off after 1 play, 2nd down and 10. Move Andrews into the slot. Jackson, quick throw up to the 40-yard line. That is thrown in there. And that's his #1 guy, that Zay Flowers, making the catch here to be 3rd down and 3 for the Ravens.
And remember, I mean, we're all watching. Todd Monken, the play caller's watching. It's one thing to practice, especially on a short week. We're getting a lot of walkthroughs. But we all want to see, good job of just giving him an easy throw, get to 3rd and short, then settle in. And the guy hadn't played for almost 4 weeks. It's good to just give him an opportunity to make a few plays and get back into the routine and rhythm of the game.
3rd and 3, 4-man rush. Pass to the outside is low. And incomplete intended to Rashad Bateman. So Jackson comes back after a month off because of a hamstring, 3-0.
Hit Bateman into the boundary against press tight coverage, but the good route. Actually, was able to separate. Ball just low and away here early. Again, like we talked about, as good as he is, any quarterback takes 4 weeks off. You just got to kind of get reestablished into the game. He will.
Jordan Stout in his 4th year took over after Sam Cook had been the Ravens punter for 16 seasons. And the kick backing up, and it's going to bounce. They're going to let it bounce. And Miami's going to be stuck deep in its own territory. Lake Washington let it roll. They'll start from the 3-yard line.
Both teams have had a chance to feel each other out, see what kind of defense they're seeing. With Miami, without Tyreek Hill, they said that we would get ready with Tyreek Hill. Everything we prepped, throw it out the window. We had to wait for the first 2 series to see what unique coverage we might see. Now it's much more predictable without Tyreek Hill what they might see. But even with that being said, they got a series now to just kind of digest, and Frank Smith and Mike McDaniel make some adjustments and see what they do here with the ball pinned back inside their 5.
Yeah, you saw that one-note Tagovailoa with 10 interceptions thus far in the season. Started out of the pistol, Running back is Gordon. Give it to Ollie Gordon. And Gordon picks up about 3, tackled by Teddy Buchanan, rookie out of California, who's the NFL's Defensive Rookie of the Month.
Ran the ball pretty well in the interior against Atlanta last week, but this is a very, very different set of circumstances and challenge for this offensive line. It's an offensive line that's going to want to be, like we said in the first series, try to get out on the edge, use their speed and athletic ability to get to the second level. Be tough sledding in the interior.
On 2nd and 7. Play action. Pass is caught. First down, 19-yard line. What, the ball is now out. The ball is out. It's picked up by the Ravens. Tackle is made at the 6-yard line. A Rolling Gilman, who they picked up in a trade a couple of weeks ago
Yes!
from the Chargers. Forced it.
Gilman, we talked about how he came over. It's amazing. After 5 days of being in Baltimore, coming over from LA because of a similar system. You see the right hand in, knocks it out before he touches. And that's just the experience. What a great player, just great awareness. They had the first down. It was good execution. Him working the edges, whether that means running or getting the ball out there quickly or that push it. He's never given up on the play. Gilman rips it out and ends up getting on top of that for a big turnover.
He pays his first huge dividend in that trade. Ole went to the Chargers. One of the reasons John Harbaugh was saying is that he wanted Gilman back if he could move the ace of spades, of course, for them, Kyle Hamilton, into the box.
Yep, move him down. Kyle Hamilton can do so many different things. It's freed him up to do a lot of different things. But what a big play and a big opportunity for Lamar.
That was Washington's first NFL reception. It's something he probably won't forget. And Henry pulls his way inside the 1-yard line.
If you're a Baltimore fan, this is what you love to see. Pulling guard, a power play, Ricard leading up the middle. Do it again.
And hurry up with no huddle. Bring Ricard in at fullback. Give it to Henry, and Henry will not get to the goal line. So it's 3rd down and goal.
Good job beating up the linemen. Tyrell Dodson's able to get downhill. These linebackers last week, Jordan Brooks and Tyrell Dodson had a great game. They knew they were going to challenge that manhood that second straight time, and they got downhill in a hurry. That's the way you stop Henry. You can't let him get downhill. You got to make him reset his feet.
3rd and goal. Ricard now offset the fullback. Henry the back. Play action. Jackson under pressure throws high. And now Isaiah Likely, the intended receiver, but the pressure is put on by Jackson. So it's 4th and goal. 8.5 to go. Opening quarter, 3-0 Miami. Jackson looking over to the bench.
Healthy Lamar Jackson, you get him out on the edge with the ability to find an open receiver or use the feet to be able to get outside and get to the corner.
Big point. 4th and goal. Here he goes again. He throws. And this time,
Touchdown! Yes!
and the touchdown, Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews got touchdown.
I thought you might see that maybe on 2nd or 3rd down. They want to try to hammer it. And again, you get him outside, it puts a lot on the mind of the defense, including their eyes. They lose Mark Andrews on the back. Does a good job of kind of pulling the defense's attention to him, and it goes back into the inside to one of his favorite targets, Mark Andrews, with a touchdown. So they're able to capitalize on that turnover.
Tyler Luke, rookie out of Arizona. 6th-round draft pick with the extra point. So Andrews now has 3 touchdowns on the season. The other 2 came in the same game and lost to Detroit. Here's the turnover, ripped out, sets up a 1st and goal, and in they go to make it 7-3 Ravens. Get it? Down 7-3. D. Estridge with a nice one back on the opening kick. It's knocked down at the 26-yard line by Keandre Jackson. Now the Ravens, over the first few weeks this year, giving up 35.4. Last 3 weeks, a lot better, 16-4.
For instance, last year, their concerns early in miscommunication, poor tackling was more about the pass game. Zach Ford had to make some moves, which meant Kyle Hamilton had to move to the back to clean up the communication. This year, the issues are a little bit more in the front. Hence, Gilman gets the trade, frees up Hamilton now instead of going to the back. Now he comes up closer to the line of scrimmage. So, as you said, the Swiss Army knife.
Meanwhile, they hand the ball off to Achane. Down the sideline, he goes for a nice game.
Guys, Kyle Van Noy told me he feels like this Ravens defense is finally turning into a cohesive unit. Young players are improving, others are settling into new roles, and like you guys have mentioned, they're getting healthy. And Van Noy was glad to give some credit to the addition of safety Alohi Gilman in just those 2 games since he's been traded to Baltimore from the Chargers. Van Noy says Gilman has made the back end more complete with his presence, energy, and his communication.
And this is one of those trades that could work out very well for both teams. Halfway through the quarter, from the 45-yard line, toss it back to Achane. The outside he goes. Stays on his feet, picks him about 7. There's Gilman again, making the stop there, second down.
And Daniel Brunskill, again, we talked about it. They're going to continue to see that, attacking the edges to this defense. Nate Wiggins, the corner that time, tried to get upfield to force Achane underneath, but great blocking. And I'll tell you, 64 Brunskill, he did some of this when he was in Tennessee. He looks really comfortable considering Mike McDaniel hasn't done this a lot. You would have thought it's a big part of their offense, the way the operation of it looked last week.
Gold is the fullback. Wow. He gets the Hamilton, makes his presence felt right away, which he has done so often through his stellar career.
And this one, here's a defensive alert. And at that second level, you never know who might be coming here. They're showing you Hamilton could be the guy, but I think the right tackle, Larry Bourne, it had to be some kind of miscommunication. Either Bourne, the tackle, needs to kick out, or in goal, the fullback needs to come over there. But that's a easy play for one of those talented defensive backs in the National Football League. Great job by Kyle Hamilton.
Ravens' first pick back in 22. And the pass is caught, and that's a first down. Into Ravens territory to the 44-yard line. Greg Dulcich making that catch. The number 1 tight end, Julian Hill, is out injured tonight, so it's going to be Dulcich and Tanner Conner.
You can blitz here, so the ball is going to have to get out quickly by Tua. Does a good job of feeling that. Look how quickly that ball is out well before his tight end even turns. So good job of sensing the Ravens. If they're going to get pressure, they have to bring it from the linebackers or safeties because they're not getting it from the front four.
There's the other tight end, Darren Waller, is out. He's the number 1 guy. He's on injured reserve. To it, over the middle, and it's incomplete. Room behind and dropped and almost picked. Jalen Waddle can't handle it, 2nd and 10.
But we've been bragging a lot about Kyle Hamilton. How about Marlon Humphrey? Another chess piece that can move around and do a lot of different things, whether it's inside at nickel or here. They've been moving him back to the outside spot. Great job of just eyes on the quarterback to allow him to jump this and get that left hand in front of Waddle to knock it away.
Humphrey. The Raven through 9th year in the league. Number 1 pick on Alabama back in 17. So McDaniel pacing the sideline. 5.5 to go in the quarter. Hand the ball right here. Big ball exploited here by Achane. And he is out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. Devon Achane runs the ball, catches it well as well. 22-yard pickup here.
Brewer and Paul, 2 athletic offensive linemen. Look at Brewer, that's the center. Gets up on the rookie Buchanan. Good hard running. I think that's one of the underappreciated aspects of Achane's game. He's very fast, we know that, but he's got a really strong lower half to be able to pull away from arm tackles. So good execution up front to get him that crease, and then the strength to pull away from that tackle.
Also their leading receiver coming into the game. Now they hand the ball off inside the 20 to Ollie Gordon, a rookie out of Oklahoma State, picked in the 6th round. Picks up 3 here, 2nd and 7.
Mike McDaniel and Frank Smith right now doing a really good job of mixing up different personnels. They go with more of that traditional 21 with two backs with Achane and Ingold, the fullback, but also mixing in some Achane and Gordon. To your point, now they can motion Achane out and use him as a slot receiver. So making the Ravens see a lot of different aspects of this offense and how they can attack.
Yeah, Frank Smith was calling the plays from upstairs, moving down to the field in Atlanta. They're going to keep him there. 2nd and 7, to the outside goes the pass. Caught, good move to the inside. Then to the 15 goes Ollie Gordon instead of 3rd down and 4.
I like Gordon. We talked when we had them in week 3 over at Buffalo that they haven't had a big back like this since, I got to go back to maybe a Terry Kirby or a Ronnie Brown. It's been a long time, especially in the Mike McDaniel era where it's got smaller guys that are really fast. Nick Gordon, as the weeks go on, he gets more and more comfortable with the system, and he brings that downhill thump to go along with all the speed that they have.
Just to be precise, Smith is the offensive coordinator, but McDaniel, the head coach, he calls the plays. Smith on the sideline now. Pump fake throw, and that's going to be caught, but short of the first down. As Waddle would have had the first down, had to come back to make the grab. So now it's going to be 4th and 1. Wiggins covering on the play. So what play does McDaniel send in here on 4th and 1?
Brings Gordon in. Probably have a couple different backs. Run skill is not in.
Achane and Gordon are both in the huddle right now.
Some kind of deception with the pre-snap movement affect the eyes of the defense.
And both Achane and Gordon into the backfield. And a whistle
A false start.
the snap.
I think the right tackle, Larry Gorham, jumped at it.
And that takes away a 4th and 1 opportunity to go for it and brings in the field goal group.
Yeah, you can see how Mike McDaniel, how frustrated he was. I think he really liked the call. And he reacts here to Van Noy. Van Noy did not get into the neutral zone. He jumps. They move him back, and Mike McDaniel, the Dolphins, missing out.
Larry
To go for it, probably pick it up there on 4th and short.
Not too many penalties get head coaches crazier than pre-snap. Patterson misses it.
Here's the field goal. Yes.
So the Dolphins march down and they get stopped at the line of scrimmage. Man, who last year was 2nd in the league in rushing to only Saquon Barkley. Well, Tua going over a lot on the sideline. They've already gained over 100 yards, but are stuck with 3 points.
Yep, absolutely. Here's a great explanation on how you slow down Derrick Henry. You get penetration or you push the offensive lineman back and make him reset his feet. If he gets downhill at 252 pounds, you're in a world of hurt. That time it was Chop Robinson pushing Ronnie Stanley back.
In the yard gain, 2nd and 9. Jackson is high, throws, breaking tackles, picking up the 1st down. Is Zay Flowers.
You see dynamic. They just want to try to find opportunities, especially early in this game as Lamar is still kind of settling in. Just find that open, soft spot in the zone and then let him do his work after the catch. He can go downfield, those deep crossers, but here early, just find that zone, find a soft spot, give him an easy target to throw to.
43 catches for Flowers, tops on the team. Meanwhile, here goes Henry, dragging a couple of guys moving out to the 43-yard line. Kenneth Grant making the stop there, gain of 6, 2nd and 4.
I think Todd Monken has done such a nice job here in his 3rd year as offensive coordinator. You bring Derrick Henry over last year. They have a monster, historic year as an offense. And it's because Derrick Henry, even at 31 years old, still has speed and power and a dynamic interior runner. And you got to respect Lamar Jackson when he's healthy around the edge. And then he's become a prolific pocket passer to go along with it. It's just a lot to defend.
2nd and 4. Lamar's going to keep it. Lamar's going to get tackled at the line of scrimmage. Right there is Matthew Butler. Stopping it for no gain in the remaining seconds of the 1st quarter.
So, yeah, we're all kind of watching him, everybody, especially folks back in Baltimore. How healthy is he? Is he your typical dynamic, generational talent running the football right now? I think even he himself is kind of feeling it as he does some of those movements he probably hasn't practiced until he's out here right now doing it live in this game. Kind of feeling it as he goes.
Justice Hill is now the back on a 3rd down and 4. This should be the final play of the quarter. Lamar gets away. Lamar
Just what? Yes. He's going for it.
We left.
That's
Lamar
against
Jackson
the
usually has had
end
trouble
of
with
wood
switch and
and
speed.
water.
Here, it's power to pull away from Phillips, and then the vision, the poise to be able to find the tight end Likely, who's coming free on the backside. It looks like Phillips has the tackle and the sack. They're going to get a punt, be able to get the ball back to Tua, but instead he pulls out of that and does a good job of improvising once again.
So the quarter ended on the 35-yard reception. First down to the 23-yard line. And ready to the 20-yard line. He goes. Johnson is there. Submarining to make that tackle, 2nd down and 7.
A real test to the willpower of this Dolphins defense. They showed a lot of that toughness last week when they went to Atlanta. Did a good job against that run game. Put Kirk Cousins in some obvious passing situations. More importantly, I just think it was the toughness that they played with, led by 20 Jordan Brooks. And now the way this game feels here early with some of their own offensive miscues, this defense has got to bow up here.
Now they bring in the speedy Keaton Mitchell as fast as they come. His first action of the night. And running back, 2nd down and 7. Pass is.
Oh, idiot, throws a touchdown. Yes. Mark Andrews again.
Todd Monken could not have drawn this up any better. Bang, right there. And you can see that Mark Andrews able to pull away. No chance for Elijah Campbell to come over. Lamar Jackson, his eyes must have lit up when he saw those two defensive backs run right into each other. Man coverage, couldn't have called a better play against that look. And good execution there. And good to see Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely getting their hands on the football. This Ravens offense.
Unfriendly fire for Miami secondary. Extra point. Tyler Luke is good. And Baltimore is out to a 14. It's
Downs through 7 games coming into tonight. Of course, 2 already here. And he admitted he still wants to be dangerous and catch some passes himself. Looks like he's on a mission to do that tonight.
2 TDs. Touchback here after the 30, 35. You know, Andrews is one of those guys on the trading block.
Right, exactly.
I mean, how much airtime is filled by trading block and hot seat?
And how about just enjoy what you have? I mean, everybody, I heard the same stuff. Everybody's like, well, Likely's maybe the better fit for this offense. It's like, I never talked to Lamar Jackson about Mark Andrews. They came in the same year together. He's like a security blanket. There's a lot of intangibles when it comes to that relationship. And it's good to see him, like I said, get off to a hot start with a couple of touchdowns here early.
Again, the extra lineman, you can put that 64 report says ineligible, put that on a loop and play it and save Scott Novak, the referee, some of his throat. From the 35-yard line, they flip it here and deep in the backfield, now coming back the other way to turn what would have been a big loss into a nice little gain is Malik Washington.
It sounds like we're his PR department, but how can you not when you do these games with Kyle Hamilton? Talked about how he's moved up to the line of scrimmage, and it's for this right here. I mean, that's a center trying to block him. It's the discipline, the physicality. He doesn't make the tackle, but he does his job. Now the rest of the defense has got to eventually make the play. But a good job not being fooled on that reverse and being at home.
We're not the only broadcast team that sounds like a he deserves it. Hell of a player. No doubt. 2nd and 3. Cross back, Achane. That's the first down. Takes it to the 50-yard line.
So Miami's just tuning in. They've been moving the ball pretty well. In fact, almost 7 yards of play. It's a miscue. Deep in their own territory. A fumble here. Gilman created See the full start going to it on 4th and 1. Pushed them back. They decided to kick a field goal instead of going for it deep in Baltimore territory. And they missed the field goal. So miscues, which has been a problem all year. A problem here early in this game for Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins.
Early in the second, first down. Off the fake. Catch is made. Fighting for extra yardage. Explosives making the second catch, and he picks up 9. Second down and 1 for the Dolphins.
Dulcich has wide receiver skill set. His 4th year at UCLA, 6'4", 245. You know, with Waller being down with that pec injury a few weeks ago. So one aspect of this offense, they have all this speed, but with Tyreek Hill down and Darren Waller down, they've had to find able bodies to be able to function in this offense right now to help Tua out.
Second and 1. Play action again. Tua going wide open.
Like is down.
In the conference right now, with the umpire will Scott Novak. And what now? As the Dolphins begin to walk back very slowly. So the second penalty of the night, that would have been, can be, we'll see, 36 yards, but still no call, even though both teams are not coming back to the line of scrimmage.
Terry, you mind hopping in here? I didn't see his leg whip or any trip at all.
Now, it's not a foul. He gets in with the lower part of his rear end.
Yes!
It's an incorrect call.
Well, they call it on Ollie Gordon, roughing Malaria as it goes down. Crowd sees it, crowd hates it.
I think we all do. But Terry said that with conviction because I didn't see anything. He slipped. Ollie Gordon slipped, but it's been that kind of year. The rookie's frustrated. He had a big play down that right sideline. He slipped, lost his balance, but he didn't try to use his legs to trip him.
And that had been
Maybe that's what he's frustrated about.
that had been a 2nd and 1. And now it's a 2nd and 16. So look at the sideline, and Texas name is out of bounds. Yes, he is. Tanner Connor, tight end, on the chalk, 3rd and 16.
Yeah, Connor is probably the best receiver they have with Darren Waller down. But as he gets down this sideline, you see him release. Love to see him be aware, a little bit more awareness of the sideline and work here. Watch where his body goes down the sideline, and then the ball ends up going over that way. He would have been able to just stay a little bit more vertical. We're going to give him more room to work with and more room for Tua to put the ball on that sideline.
At their own 42, and have to get to the Ravens 42 to get the first down. They dump it off here. Catch is made. Stopped at the 48 is Achane at the 48-yard line. Tackled there by Roquan Smith. And it's 4th and long.
What a play. Because this, they screen you to death, and they can show it right and come back to the left. He had some blockers downfield, and Roquan Smith, who's one of the top linebackers, as we know, looking right away, he knows, but now he's going to deal with a lineman, gets off of him, and does a good job of being able to corral a very fleet-footed running back in space.
Jake Bailey leading the NFL in net on average, 46 and a fraction. And this one will be hauled in at the 6-yard line. And with room to roam from the 6 out to the 24 goes DeJounte Western. It's a 10.5 to go in a frustrating first half for the Dolphins who trail by. Well, here they have both of their games with Pittsburgh remaining. One in late November, the other one is week 18. Final game of the season. They start this drive from the 23-yard line. Jackson, pressure, look out, gets sacked, the 10-yard line. Trump got in there first, and then Jones came in there to finish him off.
I think anytime you're going up against Lamar Jackson and he boots away from you, he hands off away from you, you got to be ready for the threat of the boot coming towards you. That's the veteran Bradley Chubb. Force him back inside, and that is a tough thing for a 330-pound Benito Jones to be able to finish that off, but he does a nice job, and he gets the Ravens behind the sticks.
You saw that shot of Chubb and Ricard exchanging pleasantries, in a manner of speaking. Second down and 20 from the 13-yard line. Inside handoff here, Henry on the move. Big game.
Let's take a quick look at our next gen stats powered by AWS to go back to Cammy's point about how this season started for John Harbaugh. But even though they're down there at 2-5, look at the percentages. They are favored to come back and take over this division, not only with the schedule they have in front of them, but with this team getting healthy and being the team that John Harbaugh expected to be when they broke camp in late August.
And Lamar can make a gigantic difference in perception. Justice Hill is the back here on 3rd and 6 after a 14-yard gain by Henry, and that pass is incomplete. And there is no flag. Safety covered there by Rasul Douglas, and it's 4th down. Now there is a late, very late flag at the 44-yard line.
That's going to be on Bateman for yelling at the official. That's going to be a dead ball foul on Bateman 7. He was arguing because he wanted the holding call as he was running his route.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense, number 7. 15-yard penalty. Down, 4th down. That counts as his first forced disqualification.
Maybe a little bit of a make too.
Possibly. But early on the route, Douglas is a big physical guy. Bateman thought he got a little handsy. Maybe he did. But what I'd love to see as a quarterback is finish the route. If he finishes the route, I mean, he may at least have a shot at the ball. And this is where the penalty comes in as he goes after the official.
Well, we've seen that a few times where there is no flag. 4th and 19, Jordan Stout to lead the punting now. Malik Washington back to receive it. Gets it away. Good deep kick to the 27-yard line with the flag. And down the sideline he goes. But
Right,
the flag was thrown immediately as he made the catch. And it's normally on the receiving team. Let's see.
During the kick, holding, kicking team number 39. That's when that penalty will be added to the end of the play.
Huge break for the almost every time you see a flag come in like that.
Always.
Yep.
Always.
90%. Something like that. DeAndre Jackson is the guy.
Leaves the gunner. Both guys got handed this Chop Robinson. Looks like he's heading to the locker room. Well, Miami, after that return and after the penalty, huge opportunity here to get right back into this game.
Penalty before the punt. Penalty tacked on after the punt. And all of a sudden they're down to the 29-yard line. Down by 11, 8:49 to go in the opening half. Stewart. Stewart into the traffic into the ground. Second down to Kaylee.
Guys, Chop Robinson, the Dolphins' starting defensive end, he is being taken back to the locker room to be evaluated for a concussion.
All right, check on that as they take him all the way back underneath into the locker room. Mike McDaniel looking in here. Calling the play on a second down and 10. And the Ravens coming 2-5. Dolphins coming 2-6. Haven't had their bye week yet. One of these teams is going to be a lot healthier after tonight's game. Second down and 10. Sure. The pass is incomplete, 49. Jalen Waddle that time. 3rd and 10.
And the timing of these routes with Tua and Waddle have to be just right on point, precise. A little quick fake, back foot, ball out. And he just missed a little behind there. I think he felt Nate Wiggins coming down, got the ball out, and just threw it behind him.
Will Shock Robinson. And to be checked out. 3rd and 10. Zach Orr, defensive coordinator. All the way back to the outside he goes. Tackled by Smith, catch by Achane. It's going to be 4th down and 6.
Big decision. They're going to try to take the points here. Again, I think it's very similar to their first possession. If they would have gotten in that 4th and 2, 4th and 1 range, trying to get man coverage there against Roquan Smith, maybe they go for it, but instead, an obvious kicking situation and maybe a chance for redemption.
So Patterson made from 49, missed from 35. This is a 43-yard attempt. And this one is good.
With the field goal. Dolphins made another field goal.
57 remain. There is Hunting played very well last week. Got them the victory along with that first round game. Cooper Rush had trouble in his 2 starts from the Dallas Cowboys. But now they've got Lamar back in the kickoff here to the 4. Keaton Mitchell the running back. But Lamar effect, you probably read about the fact that the Ravens and the league is investigating the fact that they called him a full participant when he had the practice squad via the team that he was running.
The Bears.
The Bears, yeah. And the funny thing is, so Harbaugh said it was kind of an innocent thing, but the league is very sensitive to making sure these are right. The effect, the spread went from like 5 points to 1 point when it looked like he was going to play. So it was
kind of
that was a big deal.
And I think it was, whether it was unintentional, it was a smokescreen to Chicago. When they see full, they'll probably think Lamar Jackson's going to be out there. So
Right. Running the scout team, which shouldn't be listed as a full participant. So they cleaned it up, but the league still looks into it. Pass over the middle. It's a 7-yard gain. Keaton Mitchell makes that catch. Daily.
Well, guys, Lamar told us that running the scout team was awesome for a minute until he realized that he was getting too competitive against his own defense. And I got a good laugh out of Kyle Van Noy when I asked him about Lamar's practice performance. He told me he had to tell Lamar, relax, bro, relax. But he also felt like Lamar gave him a good look to get ready for that win on Sunday.
Yeah, Lamar was hoping to play last week. John Harbaugh keeps him out, plays him tonight. Instead of making him play 2 games in 4 days. Handoff here. Henry.
I might just add, with a hamstring, with arguably the best player in the league, if you're going to err on 1 more week, I think anybody would say that sounds reasonable. I think it's just the fact that he was listed as full on a Friday. I mean, that's the obvious question. But knowing this organization and John Harbaugh, I don't think whatever they did was intentional. I think it was something that was some kind of miscommunication. The league will do whatever they're going to do. John Harbaugh and the Ravens will move on, and they're happy to see number 8 under 7.
And meanwhile, he's going to get a mini bye at the end of this game. He had 10 days off instead of 7. Here's Henry to the outside, and Henry is going to be stood up and stopped. So it's going to be 4th and 1. Rasul Douglas came up there now. 4th and 1. If you're the Ravens, would be in your own territory. Obviously, what are you doing? Send at the punt court.
Yeah, and that is a huge play by Rasul Douglas. Not only does he make the tackle, he also has to deal with Ricard trying to get up there to be able to pick him up. There's the rookie trader finishing it off, but that was all the corner. Rasul Douglas making that play.
Big stop. So now 4th and 1. You got Jordan Stout. You got Malik Washington back to receive it. Stout's boot. Washington backing up and drifting over, and he's going to let it go into the end zone. Almost touched it, and that would have been disastrous for the Dolphins. Instead, it goes into the end zone for a touchback. Tua and company.
How he handles the ball, mechanics, ball out quickly, the timing. the operation of it all, kind of like a point guard with some of the no-look handoffs and the way you got jet sweeps going left and right, holding linemen. There's just a lot going on. And he does a great job. And Dan Marino, we were in Buffalo, had a chance to talk with him about Tua and his offense. He's as big a fan as anybody, and I know he's frustrated. His team at times plays well. He just can't catch a break. See if they can get it going here.
Loved watching him play, one of the all-time greats, Dan Marino. 2 and out from the 20-yard line, and half a yard maybe for A-Chan. You know, it's amazing. Marino, phenomenal career, fabulous career, Hall of Famer, obviously. Only played in 1 Super Bowl, his 2nd season. He played San Francisco with Joe Montana at Sanford Stadium in 1984. Yep. And that was the last time, the only time he got there.
I was hoping that would be the almanac.
Yeah. Well,
you were doing studio work, right?
we have other stuff in the almanac coming up. A while. So meanwhile, you got, as Marino looks on, that's Kyle Hamilton, the last guy that Baltimore wants to see on the ground at this point. So they work on Hamilton.
It's a different game for Kyle Hamilton, you know, where he's moved around as a safety, as a nickel, and now essentially playing more of an outside linebacker, really up on the line of scrimmage, up against the tight end. So much more that goes on. There's bodies that are rolling around your legs. Let's just hope that he's okay. See what I'm saying? And he's a big guy. 6'4", about 220 pounds. There's just so much more traffic for him. And he's up and jogging off, so that's good to see.
So he'll come out for at least 1 play. It'll be 2nd down and 10 for Miami at the 20-yard line.
Marlon Humphrey now will move up a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage.
Number 44.
A false start.
False start. Offense number 65. That's a 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
You know, they didn't have any of this last week against Atlanta. The reason I think all of us walked away from watching that Atlanta game thinking, wow, you know, because they kind of came in limping. Tua had thrown 3 picks, 2 straight games. Nobody expected anything from them in that game against Atlanta. And it wasn't just that they had their most complete game. It was the way they got in and out of the huddle, the operation, the tempo, the rhythm of the offense. And they didn't have a lot of miscues. Tonight it's been a completely different story here in this first half.
Call the penalty on number 65, and since there is none, somebody got away with it. So that here is number 4. Hamilton back in. 2nd and 15. To the outside goes the pass. They're blocking out in front. And a necktie tackle by Hamilton of all people on Malik Washington. National. 8 of 8.
He gets him around the neck. It's not a horse collar, not a face mask. It's a clean tackle. Terry, give me the thumbs up if that's a clean tackle.
Yep, on the shoulder pad.
It's just he's 6'4", 220 pounds, hitting the guy who's 5'8", about 190 pounds.
Crowd blocking at the non-call. So Hamilton misses a play, comes back in, makes his presence felt immediately. Play clock is 0. Is there a delay here? No, timeout taken by Baltimore.
30-second timeout.
Great mistake.
Timeout called by Davis.
Third,
That's
7 for the
false.
23-yard line, and we can tell you that in a great series. Think Otani's any good?
Yeah, it turns out he's pretty good.
Somebody said, what's the equivalent of football? I said, a quarterback throws 5 touchdown passes, plays defense, and then sets 3 passes. That would be Otani of football. 3rd and 7. Tua throws, finds the open man, and then Waddle right there for a first down up to the 38-yard line.
This is a really good look at this, and he does a nice job of getting the ball out right on time. He's got to be able to deal with Roquan Smith, who moves with the tight end and create the space. Then the ball goes in. So the motion helps moves Roquan Smith and it gives him that throwing lane. I mean, that's how precise you have to be engineering this offense and using the pre-snap movement to be able to create a little bit more room to make that throw.
2 on 12 and 16. Fires, that's caught in Ravens territory. Waddle again to the 39-yard line in the big first down. Tackled by Starks.
They came right back to it. This time they used play action. So instead of using motion to move him left or right, this time play action to the bigger back to move the linebackers down. Gordon's in, they come down, break. That's the same throw. So last time you move them horizontally, left to right. This time with a play action, move them down with the same result with that quick glance route to the backside. And again, being decisive with the quick timing.
Longwood 99 receiving yards last week. He has 4 catches for 61 yards tonight. Under 3 minutes to go. We flip it back here to Malik Washington. And Washington is able to pick up about 4. Make it 3, second and 7. And Ollie Gordon is the man who's down.
Malik Starks rolled up on him as he was trying to make a block. And that's where you see so many of these injuries. Guys are out there on the perimeter blocking or offensive lineman blocking. 24 just a follow through, rolls up on it. Unintentional, obviously, but
it's an injury timeout coming in. Well, Ollie Gordon has to go into the tent. The third running back is Jalen Wright, who had 9 touches and 9 carries, 10 touches last week in Atlanta, but he is inactive for them.
You got to wonder if Dingle maybe could become that emergency third back if they need him.
So a heavy dose of Achane, who would have had a heavy dose anyway, especially so under these circumstances. Second down and 7. Achane, room, first down, and they finally get him stopped shy of the 20-yard line by Humphrey and by Gilman.
Well, usually Baltimore will play with 1 high safety look, but here with a 2 high safety look, the answer obviously is you got to be able to run the football. You got to be able to control the front and then allow your back to have some space to be able to work to be able to pick up that first down with the safety's back. So if Tua goes to the line of scrimmage, he sees a 2 high safety look. He's going to be able to make that call to get the offense in the right call. And he does.
2 in the morning. Ravens up 14-6.
Krista was in it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Halftime coming up next. Meanwhile, Gordon is out of the tent. We'll get a word on him. Achane goes nowhere. It's going to be second down 9. Running, the Dolphins had 2 timeouts. Meanwhile, Gordon's going to go back to the locker room.
This is another great drive by Miami. They're moving the ball. They just got to avoid the mistakes. Continue to be aggressive. They're working on the clock here because they don't want to give Lamar any time at all.
Because Baltimore could pull off a 2 for 1 since they're going to get the ball to start the second half. Second down and 9. Again, Chan moving forward to about the 12-yard line. Timeout now taken by Baltimore.
Second timeout called by
Ravens.
Ravens.
What would the equivalent in football be to Otani? And I said, just
Touchdown.
You throw 5 touchdown passes and you play defense and you pick off 3.
Second timeout
Sandy
called by
Ball
John Hall.
in 1943 for Washington against Detroit threw 4 touchdown passes and intercepted 4 passes.
Well, there it is.
There you go. And punted.
What year was that?
43. Sid Luckman had 4 and 2 picks for Chicago.
But do you think Otani is getting the appreciation that he deserves?
Finally, yeah.
You think he was over there 8 years in Anaheim, no one cared.
Tell me about it. Live out there.
No one talked about it. Get that Dodger uniform on. Everybody pays attention.
International celebrity. Third down and 2 now after the timeout. 1:11 to go.
Get outside.
Tackle made in the backfield. Roquan Smith is right there to make sure he knocks him down, and now Baltimore takes another timeout. So that is their final with 68 seconds.
So Ravens fans, you wonder about John Jenkins, Travis Jones, these guys, Brent Urban, they don't make a ton of plays. What they do is they eat up those offensive linemen, especially in short yardage, and they free up Zero. Allow him to be able to get free up downhill to be able to make a play like that. I think Mike McDaniel realizes the opportunity he has here at the end of this first half. He's been here a few times. He's kicked a few field goals, made a few, missed one. He's going to go for it.
Down by 8. We're going to go 5 wide. Stack for receivers on the left side, 4th and 2. Away they go. And it's going to be a foot nobody.
Did not block it. Yeah.
Zero coverage, meaning no safety behind. It's just your man against my man. And this is the inexperience of A-Chain. He's a good, talented receiver. He's a running back that plays receiver. But on a fade, he just didn't quite run the route. He had a matchup advantage in space, theoretically, against Hamilton. You'd like to think he's going to be able to get to that corner with the speed and win. But without having a Tyreek Hill out there, you rely on the running back to get out there in space and make a play as a receiver, and just not on the same page with Tua.
First half life with mistakes for the Miami Dolphins, who are down by 8. Now have to stop them from getting into a good field goal range in the final minute. As Jackson throws, and that's out of bounds, way out of bounds, into the bench. Coach Andrews, who has 2 touchdown receptions tonight.
Talked to Todd Monken this morning about just the offense and the development of Lamar in his 3rd year. And he said, you know, when I first got there, he said, he's obviously a generational talent with his feet, but we really wanted to be able to win in a 2-minute, 3rd down, and create explosive in the pass play, which is what they've been able to do over the last couple of years. But even here, 56 seconds left. Sustain Lamar, at least on that first play, throw the football instead of just getting out of here with an 8-point lead.
2nd and 10. In the pocket, dancing, throws, caught, Hill makes the catch, and pays the price, but slammed down just past the 15-yard line. 3rd and 5. Timeout Miami now. And we'll be back. Put Andrews in the slot left. Jackson looks the other way. Fires. It's caught. Flag is thrown. Bateman makes the catch. It's tackled there by Douglas. Will be short of the first. See what the flag is. Here's Novak. Eventually.
Offside on the offense, number 4, that released the clock.
Okay, lined up. Offside says Flowers. So you got 41 seconds. Dolphins will get the ball back, and they have that one timeout.
Could be an opportunity here. That one timeout is pivotal, especially when it comes down to just trying to get into field goal range.
Jordan Stout, this will be his 4th punt of the night. And then Washington is back to receive it. Washington backs up. Oh man, and can't make the catch. Has to pick it up on a hop. Gets tackled back at the 18-yard line. Even all the mistakes they've made, it's amazing they're only down by 8.
Yeah, that cost them about 10 or 11 seconds and about 8 to 10 yards. Just misjudging that ball and letting it bounce.
Back to Kaylee on the sideline.
Hey, 2 quick Dolphins injury updates for you. Running back Ollie Gordon is headed back to the X-ray room to look at that left ankle, and defensive end Sean Robinson has been ruled out of the game with a concussion.
On top of all the mistakes they made, a couple of injuries to deal with here. Ball back at the 19-yard line. $30 seconds. Picks up 12, picks up 32. use that timeout here.
He didn't play. He could accelerate. I think that play and the success or lack thereof gave Mike McDaniel a shot of saying, you know what, even after the mistake on the punt return, we're out over the 30 in the current world of the NFL with field goal kickers. If you can get another 20, 25 yards, 25 yards, you got a shot.
Sure. Unless they start deflating the footballs, the kicking balls. Boy, that could be almost killed me about that.
I heard about that.
Ball at the 31-yard line. To a 13 of 18 for 134 in the half. He's around, looks, it's Achane. We'll look at that sideline and get there with 19 seconds. Short gain, 2nd and 9.
Smart job there by Baltimore's defense. Those in-breaking routes, so tough. Zach Orr that time putting two defenders, Marlon Humphrey and Kyle Hamilton, kind of sitting at about 15 yards in between the numbers, just trying to take any of those plants or those skinny posts away. Make Tua have to check it down.
Over the middle, that's caught. And taking it to the 50 goes Dawson. Fire it, yep. Gotta get up there.
Gotta hustle.
Spike it. 6, 5. You're down to 4 seconds. Well, do you want to try a 69-yard field?
No, I think his long in the years was 47. I don't know what his.
Well, unless they trade for Brandon Aubrey in the next 5 minutes or so. Career long 53.
53. Made 49 earlier tonight.
It's Hail Mary time. Ravens sent a couple of guys back deep. Actually, Starks and Hamilton all the way back there. I'm going to do it close to the outside, but you tell me. Playing for Waddle, I'm not quite sure what's going on there with 3 seconds and 1. Ravens will get the ball to start the second half.
I don't know, Tua's, he doesn't have a huge arm to be able to make this throw. We'll see. He lined up on the right side there.
3 receivers to the right. Tua. Dancing. And he just takes a shot.
That's the other first half.
Very frustrating first half for the crowd here. And the Dolphins here, 14-6. The Ravens on top. Comes in mistakes for the Dolphins. Rodney Patterson will send it down toward Rasheen Ali. Lines up, bouncing to the 15-yard line. Up past the 20. Taken out of bounds at the 31-yard line is Rasheen Ali. Haley on the field, moments to go.
Mike, a lot of positives to take away from that first half, but not a lot of points. How do you address those miscues, penalties, and missed opportunity?
Self-inflicted wounds. We can't play against 2 teams. We have to play against 1. So we need to clean that up. There are some positive things, but for us to get the score right, we need to execute when it matters.
What more can your defense do to make Lamar Jackson uncomfortable?
I think they're doing a great job. That's one of the reasons that complementary football needs to show its face. So they need to keep it up and be relentless against good players.
Thank you, Kelly. That's one of the more interesting conversations I've ever heard coming out of halftime. You can't play against 2 teams.
That was a great line.
That was a great line.
And it really summed up the first half. I mean, their defense had a really good half. The Ravens had 23 plays in the first half. Lamar Jackson had 1 carry for no yards. They had 4 first downs, Baltimore did. Derrick Henry averaged 3.4 yards a carry. And then add all that up, you'd think you're maybe leading the game, right? But the miscues have some trailers.
Totally. Jackson throws and he catches. Take it down at the 35-yard line by Brooks, who leads the league in tackles. Jordan Brooks and Tyrell Dotson.
I think you got to give Anthony Weaver, the former Baltimore Raven, and a big part of that franchise for a number of years now, the defensive coordinator with the Miami Dolphins. You know, he's fired up tonight. He's got his defense for the second week in a row dialed in and playing hard and playing with a lot of spirit. Big third down here.
Weaver played with Baltimore and coached under Harbaugh before he got the job here. He knows the needs side out. Go up the 36-yard line. Third down and 6. Jackson is going to run. He's going to run for a first down.
Got the first down.
Back over the 50-yard line. Jackson. 8-13.
Well, that's the fear, right? Third down, you play some man-to-man coverage, and you blitz the linebacker. If you blitz the linebacker, nobody's there to spy. Look at the coverage, man-to-man. Nobody, and maybe they got lulled to sleep because, like I said, in the first half, you only have one carry, maybe trying to take it easy on that hammy. But here, number 8 does what he does on third down and takes off to get the yards he needed for the first down.
Got an injured Dolphin down at the 40-yard line. That's Jack Jones, the corner. Jones up on one knee. We're talking about the blitzing linebacker on that last play. It was Falele, the right guard.
I think Jones may have got stepped on when he was in man coverage.
We're good against DeAndre Hopkins.
Right there. Right on that in-breaking route. We haven't seen much of Hopkins at all tonight. He hasn't had a target. But that's right. That's what the challenge is in defending this offense. Is you get him to 3rd and 6, you roll the dice, blitz that middle linebacker, play man coverage, nobody there to spy just in case he does pull it down, and he does. Didn't do that at all in the first half, and here he gets this, keeps his drive alive. This opening drive by making that nice play on third down.
Ethan Bonner comes in, second-year man out of Stanford, to take the place of Jones. From the 49 out, first down. Keith Mitchell is the back.
Got the first down. Yes.
The first down marker by Isaiah Likely. First down.
You know, you had the fractured foot in July, and he had his foot stepped on and missed the first 4 games. Only had 5 targets all year. Just a matter of time until he got healthy and really started getting more involved in this offense. We're starting to see that come to fruition. 3 targets, couple catches, and 45 yards.
First down, 3 receivers to the left. High snap, pulls it down, goes to that left side. And this is Flowers, and he gets hit hard by Jordan Brooks after a pickup of about 3 yards.
This is continuing to see Lamar Jackson get more and more comfortable after missing, about 31 days from that injury. It takes time to get into the flow and the rhythm of the game and just see the game, right? See it, the speed of the game. And that time, Tyrell Dotson was blitzing off the edge. He saw it right away on a run pass option. And instead of running into it, he tried to flip it out there. Just good to see him seeing this pressure in the defense.
Jack Jones back in the game. Flip here to Hill. Justice Hill.
Got the first down. Yes.
So 1 through, picks up the first down. Pretty slow in getting up right now. Tyrell Dotson is all over the place.
They like to screen, with Hill typically is that guy. It's so quick and has such a good burst. Look at the lineman get downfield. Tyler Linderbaum, the center, as good as there is, I think, in the NFL of using his athletic ability to get downfield and make blocks. Lele as well. Hit right guard, 370 pounds.
First down here, play action.
Got the first down. Yes.
A lot more. Likely takes the ball inside the 15-yard line.
The the play action. You got to respect this man. So you get play action. Watch the backers, middle linebackers. Come up. Perfect. And there's just a dart thrown right off that play action look by Lamar Jackson. He knew exactly what he had when he got the linebacker to come up. And there's likely, once again, getting a chance behind the linebackers, in front of the safeties.
Opening drive of the half. This is play number 8. Mitchell turns the corner, gets bumped out of bounds there by Fitzpatrick at the 10-yard line.
Well, you start to add up all the pieces with Zay Flowers outside and Hopkins, Rashad Bateman, and the tight ends Andrews and Likely, and of course Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, Keaton Mitchell, now that he's healthy, Lamar Jackson. It's the reason they're 2-5 with all the injuries they've had, and they're still favored to win the North. It's because they have so many pieces. And remember, this is an offense that did something the NFL's never seen last year in the same year. 4,000-yard passer and over 3,000 yards rushing.
And a healthy left tackle in Ronnie Stanley, 7-9. One of the best. 2nd and 6. Over the middle, pull up inside the 10. Seeking the first down, Flowers close to it inside the 5-yard line. That was short of the first 3rd down and 1.
Had hit leverage, but he's still able to make a play after the catch. Sets up a 3rd and short.
4 catches for Flowers tonight. Under the line quickly. The keeper here. And officials come in to check it out. First down.
They've sprinkled this in over the years. Mark Andrews, very, very effective with, look who's behind him. I mean, that's not the push, but it's pretty good.
Got the job done.
Got the center, Linderbaum leading the way. The big tight end takes the snap, and 250 pounds of Derrick Henry pushing the tight end through. 5 first downs on this drive. They had 4 in the whole first half.
Now back conventionally. Lamar under center. Lamar under pressure.
Got touchdown, yes. Slightly Fuller got touchdown.
Touchdown passes to tight ends. Good Andrews, the end of Dakota.
I don't know if Fuller intentionally tried to lose his balance, but it added to him trying to kind of hide from the defense. He'll kind of go down, maybe lost his footing there, but keeps his balance. And that is a great way for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens to start this second half. Balance, run the football, play action, everything you need.
At 6:51. Extra point here by Tyler Roop is good. And the Baltimore Ravens trying to get to 3-5. On top, 21-6. So they take on the Raiders in one of the great rivalries through the years. Bo Nix and company.
I was going to say, Bo Nix and Sean Payton, boy, they are in sync right now. That offense is clicking.
Yeah.
Defense playing great.
A couple of wild company behind wins. One in Philadelphia. And of course, the masterpiece was against the Giants in the 7-yard line. D. Eskridge running this baby back after the 30.
Why is down?
Scott Novak making the call.
During the return, they go blocking the back of the receiving team, number 80. 10-yard penalty.
Yeah.
Time now for Smart Moves, presented by Xfinity Internet. Our focus is on Kyle Hamilton. This guy's been a safety every year. They set the pick on a blitz, but they didn't really get home. We saw that last week. Henry is set up that you can call him, and Nickel just walked up. Truly, he's an outside linebacker that's showing the versatility, blowing up run plays, affecting the quarterback, just doing whatever. And he told us this week, whatever the team wants me to do. What's your favorite? Doesn't matter. Whatever the team asks me to do, that's my favorite. That's why he is who he is.
From the 13-yard line. Stewart gets
Gotcha.
6. Brent Urban is in. Now, Hamilton told us that the other day, but where do you think he would most prefer to line up? On the edge, right?
Yeah, maybe tonight, but there are times when he says he likes to sit back there in center field and just use his instincts and his vision, because that's a real strength of his as well. So, like I said, last year they had issues on the back end. They moved him back to safety to communicate more with Darius Washington, and they cleaned that up. And I don't know how he's only a 2-time Pro Bowl. How is he not a Pro Bowl player every single year? Now he shows the versatility to move up, basically playing outside linebacker.
Here's Achan. He goes nowhere on a 2nd and 16. Now, McKay, there we go.
Guys, Kyle Hamilton is well on his way to wearing a gold jacket. That is a direct quote from Kyle Van Noy. Just like you guys, he pointed to Hamilton's ability to be elite wherever he is on the football field. But Kyle said you could put that man in nose guard and he would find a way to impact the game. Van Noy said Hamilton is one of the best players that he has ever played with in his 12-year career, putting his skill level in the same category as guys like Calvin Johnson, Rob Gronkowski, and Tom Brady.
That's a great compliment. And I would say not only does he move, but when he moves to the new position, it positively impacts the defense.
3rd and 17. Tulsa check it down. Incomplete. Didn't matter anyway. Achan would have been stopped in his traps. And the crowd is just about had it. Well, in a game in which the flag down here. Mentioned in the open, had the
Umpire was not in position. We're going to replay the down.
had the Dolphins won the game. I'm not saying it's over, but the way it looks right now, it's close.
Yeah.
This could have been the springboard. Hey, in today's league, you don't anoint anybody before the final gun.
I'm with you, man.
Crazy. A ton of 2-3 possession comebacks. The owner Steve Ross. Here's Bailey to punt. Flag thrown. Bounces back against the Dolphins, and they thought it were his first touch with the flag thrown.
During the kick, holding, receiving team number 39 will be a 10-yard kick from the end of the kick. First down, timeout.
Warning. An improbable win. That's run by Henry here. So Elliott makes the catch. Jumbo Elliott, tackle eligible, is in his 13th season in the league. And I say on the call, it's the first touchdown of his career. It's the first catch of his career. And working with Dennis Miller, who comes on and says, well, you couldn't keep him down forever. And that was the night Arnold Schwarzenegger comes into the booth with the Dolphins killing the Jets, and he says, Wayne Corbett will be the star. And then Arnold left. He went back to the hotel like midway through the third. Never saw the end of the game. Found out the next day. He was right.
Got the first down. Yeah.
118. And some of the crowd had left, and then they started coming back in.
That's how you win a game, right?
Yeah, that's a miracle in the Middle West. The reason is the Jets head coach, and Dave Wannstedt, who coached these Dolphins, was the head coach.
25 years ago, right?
Unreal.
Cannot believe it. I don't know if I stayed up all the way to 118, but I remember that game.
What time zone were you in?
I don't know.
First charge timeout, Miami. 30
Miami
seconds
takes the
timeout.
time out here with 5:09 to go in the third. You know, one of the reasons everybody loves the NFL, I have to tell you, is that some of these endings are so improbable. That, of course, was in 2000. I mean, that was a night for the ages.
Oh, yeah. And even we're seeing that continue this year. For sure. You said earlier, there are games you think they're going to go a certain way, or look at the third quarter of the score. I don't know if we did that tonight. Doesn't quite feel that way. It feels like 28-6 in a second.
Part of the reason the NFL is like 93 of the top 100 shows on television.
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like a PR guy. I'm just making
It's a fact.
point. It's a fact. It's a fact, Jack. First and 10 at the 48-yard line. Jackson throws.
Off the first down. Yeah.
Cutting inside, tackling the 10-yard line. Zay Flowers. They're roaring now.
And Lamar just seems to get more and more confident with every series, especially in his second half. Catches him in man coverage, and Zay Flowers on the inside, out and up against his safety. There's no chance that your safety trainer as a rookie is going to be able to stay with Zay Flowers. Set him up perfectly. And how about the accuracy and the timing with Lamar Jackson to Flowers?
Gain of 39, first and goal. The 9-yard line. Off the fake, deep drop, looks around, fires over the
Touchdown. Yeah, hold on. It's a flag in the field. It's a flag in the field. I was going to flag it 15 times. Yeah.
Lamar, it just seems like we just said he gets more and more comfortable. There he is. Look at this. See something. Now he's going right here. Sees man coverage. Watch the adjustment here by Bateman. Comes right back to him. The defender in man coverage was Jack Jones, and he doesn't adjust back. He assumed that he was going to go all the way across the field, but instead Bateman puts his foot down, works back, gets separation, and Lamar Jackson almost tonight was felt like he eased himself into this game, and in the second half has gotten back more comfortable and in complete command for this Ravens offense.
Gone for a month, he's back in full flower. 4 touchdowns, no picks, and a 28-6 lead. Raiders now picked it up. Team starts to go south, and time to bring out the shopping bags. Big field goal at the 10-yard line. D. Eskridge. And he takes it back to the 30.
Well, tough night for this offense. And really, for Miami, it's been a tough year. It's kind of a microcosm of what they've been dealing with. It was a fumble early in this game. Gave Baltimore great field position. 4th and 1, they go for it, false start. Really end up kicking a field goal and push them back. They miss that field goal. Here's a 4th and 2. Not quite on the same page with Achane. They've had a number of penalties. Unforced errors tonight, and another frustrating evening. We were all hoping after the win last week in Atlanta, they keep that mojo going, but we've not seen that at all.
So over 4 minutes to play in the quarter. Catch is made. First down is made. This is Nick Westbrook for start with first catch, first down.
And Miami's been challenged all year to fight through adversity, to show that culture, that competitive spirit. And we had them in week 3 when they went to Buffalo. They showed it then. And it's, last week I think they demonstrated that. We were all impressed. I know for Steve Ross, the ownership, that this is frustrating to see, especially a home game on a Thursday night.
First down. Keeping his feet. Is Achane. We need Arnold Schwarzenegger going to show up in the booth again. I was going to say and predict the Dolphins.
Yeah, we need to go to the bullpen. So get something going here. On the other hand, the Baltimore Ravens that we talked about in the open at 2-5 and still favored to win their division, I think this has been on full display of why we all agree with that. And it's not, obviously it's Lamar Jackson and them getting healthy, but I think it's the defense and the tweaks and the adjustments of, Elahi Gilman coming over and freeing up Kyle Hamilton and Marlon Humphrey. And I just think that the defense starts to look like Ravens defense.
And a lot of the right stuff. Meanwhile, pass is incomplete. It's 3rd down and 9 intended for Achane. The reason, I think one of the reasons that Baltimore is thought to be favored, according to AWS and some of the gaming sites, is the fact that their graph is now clearly going up the Ravens, and the Pittsburgh graph, after 2 straight losses, going down a little bit.
Yeah, and you mentioned the two head-to-head opportunities they still have with Pittsburgh. In fact, the last game of the year they played them. But it feels like that division, you get to 10 wins, you're going to have a real shot of winning the AFC North. Including tonight, they still have 10 games to go.
This is good. Now, of all things here, they were going to have a delay of game.
The timeout was called by Mike McDaniel.
So they've already used 2 timeouts. Well, meanwhile, the Ravens, talking about their schedule, look at that. At the Vikings, at the Browns, the Jets, the Bengals. So the next 4 games are against teams under 500. Then they get the Steelers, then they get the Bengals again. Patriots down the line at the Packers, tough. And then wrap it up week 18 at Pittsburgh. 3rd and 9 after the timeout. Tagovailoa throws, dropped. That's Kukune. It's like everything they do gets that same response from the crowd right now.
And the previous play where they called the timeout, they just couldn't get lined up right. And you follow it up with a good pass. He puts it on him and just drops the ball. Would have been a first down. This boy's had enough, looks like. They've seen enough.
Those boys are saying we're going to the Panthers to see if they can win another Stanley Cup.
That's right.
Jake Bailey. Little known fact. Bailey got married in the offseason. Married a woman named Bailey.
No way.
I'm here for all of this. Great.
But he scrambled a few. He bought time, and look at that.
Yeah, that's wow. Most TD passes in first 5 games. This is his 5th game against Miami. So you go all the way back to Blanda in the American Football League with 21. 3 shot of that right now. Giving it to Henry. Henry around the corner. Henry off to the races. Henry gets tackled at about
Got the first down.
You get a team emotionally down. This is where you start to lean on him with the offensive line. That 252-pound running back in Derrick Henry. Good job. That foot was clogged up in the interior. He kept it alive with his athletic ability and vision. Bounced it. And again, when he gets going, obviously, if you're a defensive back, you just don't want to end up on SportsCenter or somewhere where you're just getting that stiff arm.
36 yards, stopped at the 50. Keaton Mitchell, gain of 1. Meanwhile, Lamar in this half is 9 of 9 for 95 yards and 2 touchdowns in the half.
Yeah, he's had 2 perfect passer rating games against these Dolphins in his career, and it's like having an A+ on a midterm. Tonight he's like at an A or A- because of the slow first half where they only had 23 plays. His passer ratings are a little confusing, I think they are with people.
But 158.3 is perfect. Yeah, he's done that twice in his career against Miami.
Yeah, and again, I think a lot of people with Todd Monken and the versatility of this offense, you don't want to just sit back and let them establish the run and win the line of scrimmage. I mean, you want to move around. You want to try to get aggressive. You don't know. You're rolling the dice on when you take those chances because Lamar's a different guy in his 3rd year in his system than he was 2 or 3 years ago. We saw it last year where they had a historic run, and as he gets healthy and more comfortable, he's going to remind people that he's either going maybe to another level.
3rd and 7. Going for it all. It's a little contact there. Intended for DeAndre Hopkins. He's got a few TD balls in his career. Now, this is almost perfect, Kirk, in terms of how it's played out for Baltimore. Because of all things, you got a guy coming back, a quarterback who's rushed for more yardage than any quarterback in history, and a man who is coming off a hamstring pull, and you only have him run twice all night long.
Absolutely. He's able to do it. He can attack and do things in different ways. generational talent with his feet and has become a pocket quarterback who's poised, sees the field, and is accurate.
Jordan South, Fairfax calls for with the 7-yard line.
Staff didn't have a lot of opportunities. He again just kind of feeling his way. You can almost watch him feel it each play. And then I think after he got in at halftime, he was able to settle in the offense. Well, they took control of that opening drive.
Two from the 8-yard line, and the outside goes to pass. Breaking the tackle. Nice game. All the way out to the 35-yard line with a little stiff arm there. Malik Washington got away from Alohi Gilman. We'll run the clock here, and that's going to take us to the final frame. We played 3 on this Thursday night at Hard Rock Stadium. With the score, the Ravens 28 and the Dolphins 6. I think this will be a game and a half back of the Steelers, but in the East, the Dolphins right now are headed for a 2-7 mark at the halfway point of the season. 28-6 to start the fourth. Tua throws up to the 42-yard line. Brought there by Dulcich. 2nd and 4.
The standings, the Steelers play the Colts, which is going to be a very tough game for them. If they lose that game, you're looking at all this talk about 2 and 5. You're a game out with 9 games to go. That's it.
They were 1-5, got the 2 and 5 with a win last week. On the way to 3 and 5, and you look at that schedule, which is fairly favorable for the team. In white. Tagovailoa throws. That's a first down. Westbrook McKinney makes the catch.
Well, guys, the Ravens know that their backs are against the wall, and according to Mark Andrews, the belief in their locker room has never faltered or failed through this rough start, even when Lamar Jackson was sidelined. But they had to sit at 1-5 during their bye week, and Kyle Van Noy told me that break. Ooh.
Yep. Who is right? H.N. makes the catch. It's an exclamation point you just put on.
They got him out of the backfield, matched up against Teddy Buchanan, the rookie out of Cal. They missed on that slot fade earlier when he's lined up a receiver, but this time
John Harbaugh in his 18th season.
Baltimore is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed catch.
18 seasons as the head coach of the Ravens. That one Super Bowl win back in 2012. Let's check it out. We'll check out. We'll be back.
Viewing the play, the ball hit the ground, pass is incomplete. Baltimore will not be charged with a timeout.
Well, Terry, pretty indisputable evidence there on the replay. What an angle that is, huh?
It is, Alex. It's a terrific angle, and it's a little more than the ball hit the ground. He lost control when the ball hit the ground. That's why it's in.
So back it comes to a 2nd and 10 from the 47. He throws, caught, right side of the first down. Dulcich. Great camera work, guys. The team man, Mark Tyler producing. Pierre Musso up and him back directing. Gang's all here. Malibu, Kelly Hayes, George Hill with me. You got your boys over there.
yeah, absolutely. We have. You're a big Halloween guy, right?
Oh, tremendous.
See, you're going to get all dressed up tomorrow. You and Kelly Hayes,
For sure, the bathing suit.
Darren Brown will be all dressed up. Tony,
Mm-hmm.
that's Salt Lake City.
Yes, you are. The pass is almost intercepted by Roquan Smith. Had it, dropped it, shakes his head, throw it down.
Tua looked out to the flat to look at Malik Washington, and then comes back, and Roquan just reads his eyes. He looks to 6, and then he comes back to the middle, and Roquan just sitting in his own. Did a really good job, just didn't quite finish the play. Roquan has looked much healthier tonight. Moving around, he had a hammy earlier in the year, missed a couple games, missed the Rams and Texans game, but man, he is at a different level tonight.
Emblematic of the whole Raven team getting healthier. Meanwhile, that pass is hauled in for the moment by Cedric Wilson. Tight coverage. And he makes the grab and first down.
The big thing that Baltimore is facing, and it's a reality, is they don't have a great pass rush. When they get teams to third down, they got to bring pressure. It's a good effort by 19 to hold on to this. Because Marlon Humphrey, with those long arms, he's able to get usually in there to knock that away with good concentration and finishing the play on Wilson.
For the first time he's even been targeted tonight. Through to the outside. And that catch is going to be made in bounds by Waddle. 7.
Now, we talked so much about Kyle Hamilton and Marlon Humphrey, but I think it's worth just reminding people about how big Alohi Gilman coming over from the Chargers.
Gaddafi Olway went the other way after his 10 picks last year, but they felt they needed to get the safety.
It seems like we always brag about quarterbacks. You know, a lot of the games we've had, they get in, say, 4 or 5 days to get ready, and they play. Gilman comes over from the Chargers, of course, with Jesse Minter and Jim Harbaugh, so kind of a similar defensive structure. But 5 days later, he's out there starting, and not only starting, he's back in the back of the defense making all the calls. And Zachary Moore and John Harbaugh said, you think he's with us all year, the way he's back there communicating. So he's a big part of what this defense is doing with the movement of Hamilton and Humphrey.
Yes!
The beat goes on.
Does he get outside of that tackle box? Obviously does not. And short of the line of scrimmage.
Apart from that, no problem. One thing about Alohi Gilman, you got to know the Harbaugh boys pretty good.
Sure did.
From one Jim to John.
He's fit like a glove on that back end. And like I said, he's back there communicating, hand signals, and total command.
3rd and 12. Hanson escapes the sack, gets his eyes downfield, slides to a stop. 4th and 1. One thing about McDaniels, you can read his expressions and know exactly what he's thinking about.
Oh, been thinking about most this year. I think about 2 years ago, he was one of the hottest coaches in the league.
Really? Got to the playoffs in both seasons. 4th and 11. To a throw, caught. That's going to be a first down. Waddle makes the catch. Jalen Waddle. He's had another very good night. That's 6 catches for 82 yards for number 17.
Baltimore walked up, showed man, and dropped off. See that physicality there from Humphrey, but Waddle does a nice job of staying on his route. And they hit it against that zone coverage.
Now from 25, over the middle, incomplete.
Oh, come on. Wiggins got past the
Pass interference on the defense number 2. That's a spot foul and an automatic first down.
So Wiggins is the only guy with an interception this season for the Ravens. He has both of them.
Keep in mind, they've been inside this 35-yard line tonight 4 times and have come away with just 6 points. I haven't called Wiggins' name a lot tonight. Hasn't been really challenged. Got the left hand there, but obviously the right arm dragged the shoulder for the interference.
Washington.
The Ravens saying they got a turnover. Looks like they did.
They do.
That was the rookie Buchanan who knocked that.
Yes!
An opportunity to come away with points. How about this effort here? Got the ball out. Washington unable to hold on to it.
They run a wide receiver, and here's your end result. Knocked away. Humphrey winds up with the recovery. After the turnover, 2 turnovers tonight by Miami. Here's a run. And padding that stat sheet is Derrick Henry. As Derrick Henry is now carried 13 times for 93 yards.
They go right back into the boundary with Al's favorite, the pin and pull.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, Bateman does a nice job of sealing it, and they don't want to tackle this guy. They do not want to tackle him at 28-6 after a turnover inside the 10-yard line.
Wasn't even a heavy box that time. It was the light box, right? Whatever. 10.5 to go. I'm telling you. First out of the 29-yard line. Gain of 2. Derrick Henry.
It's all ball bearings these days, I tell you what.
Yes, you know, Henry's on the verge of a 100-yard night. And the second in the league last year was Saquon Barkley in rushing yardage.
What the year he had last year, almost 2,000 yards, almost 6 yards a carry, best of his career. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that Derrick Henry in the second half of the season with a healthy Ravens offense and a healthy Lamar Jackson. It really opens it up for him.
Take toss. Lamar escapes. Lamar gets taken down from behind by Jack Jones.
I like seeing plays like that are unpredictable, where he has to do that, just the instinctive left, right, and use that fast twitch to just test that hamstring out. And I love to see that it's not affecting him in any way, not just for tonight, but looking long term of his health. It clearly shows that they were smart in making sure he was 100% healthy before he came back. You know how hamstrings, how sensitive those could be.
Well, the great thing for Lamar, too, is he's got 10 more days before the next game.
Yeah.
To get it even healthier. Davidson. And they take him down this time. Back at the 28-yard line. Jalen Phillips getting the credit there. So 4th down. Dolphins. The next game is Buffalo coming in here. Good luck. And then they play Washington, the Commanders, in Madrid. First ever NFL game to be played in Spain. South's punt. The 6th of the night. Skids out of bounds at the 19-yard line. High hopes for the Dolphins coming in after that big win in Atlanta, but not tonight. Career against the Dolphins, 18 touchdown passes, 1 interception. Tua throws. Achane pays the price after a short game. Clock running down under 8 to play in regulation.
What year was that? You mentioned Dan Marino was in the Super Bowl.
84.
The last time they won the Super Bowl was 52 years ago.
Right.
Richard Nixon was the president. Dan Marino was 13 years old. Been a moment.
Well, if you think about the Dolphins and the perfect season, and then they won it again the next year, here's Malik Washington making that catch. So the perfect season under Don Shula.
Every fan base deals with struggles and aggravation and what I call pain, the teams that I cheer for. And I don't know if anybody's been through what the Dolphins have been through. I mean, 52 years. We've had obviously some good teams, but 52 years is a long time. Who's 13?
Well, if you're Detroit, never.
That's a good way of looking
If
at it.
you're Cleveland, never.
There you go.
So that is not a catch. It's incomplete and out of the hands of Nick Westbrook-Akina, 2nd and 10.
Zach Orr, anytime a team goes through some trials and tribulations in the world we live in today, you got to fire them. You got to fire everybody. And Zach Orr, of course, felt that and heard that and just like last year, he was able to settle the defense down, made some adjustments on the back end that included Kyle Hamilton, and they played great down the stretch. And I think he's very hopeful that the moves that they have made, picking up Gilman that we talked a lot about tonight, moving Kyle Hamilton down, will help secure this defense and help them make a push here, just like last year. They played great tonight.
To a deep downfield, and it's going to
It's off. Yeah.
by Starks, the rookie, first round pick. Another time with a flag down. Continues his ascent to the end zone and continues the celebration. Of course, the cheering here is from all the Ravens fans.
Personal foul, legal blindside block on the defense number 14. Half the distance of the ball. First down.
Not the only thing that Hamilton's done wrong tonight.
Just because I watched Malachi Starks play a lot in college at Georgia, he was a 3-year starter, started as a freshman. He's a rookie, a first-round draft pick, and Ravens fans, they just tell you, this guy is a very, very unique talent, really has corner skills, playing back there at safety. You can see what I mean there with his ball skills, being able to time that. The ball is thrown probably 50 yards in the air. There's the block. But he's able to time that up. And, you know, we talked a lot about Gilman, but Starks is back there playing with him. And here comes the blindside block that'll bring this back right there by Kyle Hamilton. I personally never have a problem with a guy playing hard like that, but that's the world we live in today, so that's a penalty.
Yeah, the world we live in today is, you said before, is fire everybody.
Yeah.
In particular in college football, as you know better than anybody, everywhere. First and 10 from the 12-yard line now. The loss still in there. You got Huntley backing him up. You got Henry trying to get 100 yards. And Henry here at 98 before that. They give him 2, now they're going to give him 1. So he's got 99.
Tonight, throwing the ball downfield, not having a lot of luck. 0 for 4, throwing it to anybody other than Waddle, and that continues to be a problem with Tyreek Hill down, is not having a lot of other options to throw the football to, especially downfield.
11 picks. Tops in the NFL. They say Henry had no games, it's still 98.
Yep, the count for it either way.
We're going backwards. Yeah, we got him back to 97 now.